what's up guys? So we're doing coilovers today. I did the rears today or yesterday, but I didn't get to actually finish the fronts. Took a little bit longer than expected, but today should be a little bit easier because I kind of have like a rough idea of what to do today. But front's a little bit harder. Let's just go ahead. I'm gonna try to film as much as I can to show you guys, but let me go ahead and show you guys the ride height. So obviously I jacked it up a little bit, but there was like a 2-inch gap, which is about like 4 fingers. And then since the rears were lifted already, it's about 2-finger gap, maybe like 1.5. But today we're gonna be doing the fronts today. All right, so let me show you what we're working here. So here's the shock suspension. I don't know if you could see it, but it's right here. It's a little dark. This is the lower control or lower shock mount point. So we're gonna have to unbolt this, disconnect the sway bar end link, which is up here, and then I believe this is the upper control arm. So managed to get the sway bar end link out, the upper control arm out, disconnect the sway bar so I have room to basically pull the upper control arm out. And then from there, you just loosen the top hat, and then you need a spring compressor to kind of just press the spring a little bit, and then you could just push this down gently and then pull it up from the lower shock mount. Oh, here, let me show you this one. So usually if you get the sport model one, you get a helper spring for the fronts, but since I don't have a helper spring, the instructions aren't even clear, dude. FM Miata is so freaking such bad instructions, if I'm being honest. But I'm gonna take the helper spring out because it wouldn't make sense to have that there. So this can seat perfectly on the height adjuster, I think that's what it's called. So I'm gonna do that. And then so I have this one. I was gonna do this one, and then make sure you save these, because let's say you do want to get track springs, you're gonna need these to put the helper springs on. So put that there. This is basically the top portion. I don't even know what these parts are called, to be honest. I'm like literally just doing it as I go. I did the rears, but I didn't film yesterday because I was trying to figure everything out. It took me like 4 hours. But this top part, you're gonna want to seat that on top, so it's like that, right? And hopefully you guys already disconnected your springs. Essentially you have your top hat right here. I didn't leave this plastic thing on there. I think this is just supposed to protect it from being paint on paint, so I guess I'll just leave it on there. It's gonna get dirty anyway, so I'm not gonna clean that. You have this bushing right here. This, it doesn't really matter which direction because they're both the same bushing. So I did this, mine had this like silver mark, so I did the silver mark down, so I'm just gonna keep that down. And then should be seated like that. So the metal on top, and then the bushing will go, or the metal will go on top, I believe. Shoot. So let's see. So this one is directional, right? It says up. Hopefully you guys can read that. It says, all right, let me brighten it. So this one right here, it says up. So this will go, whoops, well, take this lock nuts up, and make sure you use the FM Miata nuts, because these are very brittle, and you don't be like me and do that, because you might cross thread it. Just make sure you be gentle when putting it on. Okay, and then in the instructions, FM Miata said this one was on top. Dude, this one should be on the bottom because you need more leverage on the bottom to tighten it. So go ahead and take this off. Okay, so now make sure up, slides it over, and it seats perfectly on that washer. Okay. From there, you're gonna want to get your top hat. All right, and then your bushing, and then I believe this goes right here, and that's how you basically assemble it. So you want metal on top, because your metal, the lock nut should basically sit on the metal so it holds it and clamps it down, right? So you want it like that. So again, metal, the non-directional bushing, and then your top hat, and then your directional bushing in between right there. So don't worry about like positioning it, just do that in a bit. go ahead and we'll put that together. And what's nice about this one without the helper spring, it's really easy to put the screws back on, because the rears with the helper springs, I had to like compress it with my body weight and then put the springs on. So basically just have that set up, and then I'm actually gonna remove the other side, that way I could just put the shocks on at the same time. So it's gonna be like battery exhausted. Jesus, bro. Oh shit. I think it's the wood block, huh?
It can't be.
Alright, so this is the after. It is slightly lower. The fronts are a little bit higher than the rears, only because I just want to make sure it clears everything before. But yep, this is how it looks like. 2-finger gap. That's like an inch. This one is about 3. So this side is slightly higher. This one is about 3 as well. Maybe just like a millimeter or 2 lower. Same side for this too. 2. So this car was already kind of low, so it doesn't look like anything changed. All right, the back for sure looks low. Actually, I don't know, this is pretty good fitment. Yeah, took me 4 or 5 hours today with some clutch bleeding that didn't do so well, but it needs a wash though. But yep, all this other junk's here. Probably just gonna call it a day.